MetaQuest Pro, next generation immersive collaboration device, overpriced toy, bit of both. I've had the device for about a week now. It's given me a chance to jump into a few experiences and test them from a kind of a corporate business enterprise perspective. You know, testing collaboration type software, testing out what it's like to have virtual monitors with a real desk and what the pass-through experience is like, and collaborating with other people. How well does the face detection and eye tracking work? What's it like to collaborate over a virtual whiteboard, or not even just a virtual whiteboard, but a 3D virtual space that you can annotate in? I'm going to take a look at these and share some examples with you in this video. So stay with me the next few minutes and we'll jump right in. Alright, so to start off, I wanted to show my environment just a little bit to give you an idea of how I'm leveraging the Quest Pro in kind of an AR pass-through type experience, where I've got some space over here on my desk that I have cleared off. And I'm going to do that by switching over to this camera and being able to take this with me and walk around with it. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to flip the camera image around. Alright, so now I've got the camera image flipped around, and you can see that I've got kind of a workspace here, a cleared desk. There's a shot of the MetaQuest Pro. So that should give you an idea of the environment. So now I'm gonna set this up to record me as I'm kind of using it, so you can kind of see a few different angles. All right, so I'm gonna get this headset on, and as you can see, we've got some AR overlay menus over my pass-through environment. Just FYI, you can't do recordings and live streams of this pass-through mode by default on the Pro. You have to actually install the MetaQuest Developer Hub, and that has a feature for doing this. So as I launch into this first application, Immersed, and it's going to ask me to do some adjustments here to make sure that the pupil distance is right and that the device is proper on your head. It's really kind of nice. It senses kind of where it is, and it tells you if you need to push it up or down for optimal viewing. You can actually turn that feature off if you want to as well, but I leave it on because it gives you the best experience. So the Immersed application is opening, and this is one that is probably one of the more popular at this point productivity apps, because it lets you basically send a remote desktop of your own computer to this virtual environment. I'm currently running it on my my PC workstation as well as my Mac, and I show both examples here, and you can kind of see that I've got these virtual monitors. I can kind of move around and see those in my real view. I will say that the quality that you get from the stream on this video is not nearly as high quality as what you see inside the headset itself. The rendered screens are you can see all the text. It's very clear. The pass-through video feels like that could be improved a little bit. It's a little grainy. The colors aren't bad, but in lower lights specifically, it gets a little worse. If you have a brighter room, it's a little better. But you can kind of see that I'm using a mouse now. It actually supports pass-through, so you can, that mouse is paired with the Quest Pro itself, and it just passes that through to the computer. It's not perfect. It felt like there was some glitches. There's a little bit of latency that kind of, affects you pointing and actually using the computer. It's not bad. I think it's something you could probably get used to, but it is a kind of obvious when you're using it. If you're used to something that doesn't have that kind of latency. Those gray boxes that pop up on the top, bottom, left, and right are kind of snap grids. If you want to add additional virtual monitors, you can snap those on. So now I've switched over. I'm going to kind of do another demo. I've got it connected to my Mac Studio. So I'm going to pop this up, and you can kind of see I've got my Mac desktop, and that's actually where I'm recording this YouTube video as well. So you can kind of see that I've got that software running, moving some windows around, kind of getting them oriented. It wasn't a perfect experience. I had to kind of play around with, sometimes when I've used this, I've been able to snap the windows to that primary window really easily, but I was having some trouble during this demo. I don't know if it's because I was live streaming off the headset at the same time, but I took that window and which kind of had the live feed from the display on it and threw it up in the corner there. So now I've went into a full virtual environment, and I've got kind of a portal where you can see your real keyboard. It's not ideally placed, but if I was to, take a step closer to my physical desk and then press the reorient button, it would automatically put me, and I do that here in a second, it would automatically put me more at the desk itself. So this is going to let me position some other windows. I'm going to throw kind of this secondary monitor. I'm going to kind of push it far away from me and make basically like a virtual display here at the end of the room. Can resize that. So you could imagine, inviting, other virtual folks to be in the room with you during a presentation. You could get this set up and kind of save it this way ahead of time, have that be your secondary monitor. I don't know. I mean, it kind of seems like it would be functional. I'm not sure if it's something, people would want to actually do. Time will tell, but the base functionality is kind of there. So that's kind of interesting. So you'll see here in a second, I kind of reposition the keyboard. As you can see, it's doing a pass through to my real keyboard, so I can see it. I can see my hands. So if I wanted to actually get some, productivity done, I could actually see my keyboard, which I really don't need to see my keyboard. I mean, you can type without seeing your keyboard, but it is nice for almost like a confidence monitor kind of aspect to just know your keyboard's there. So now I've switched views, and I'm standing at the podium as if I was going to do a presentation. I'm going to see if I can grab the corner of this screen here and make it smaller, like a little laptop monitor, preview monitor. And again, in the view for me, when I'm viewing this, it's full 3D, as well as the quality of the remote display is perfectly legible. I can read all the menu items, all the text, all the words that would be on the computer screen pretty easily because of the resolution. So now I've just enabled a virtual webcam in the virtual environment. So I realized this avatar doesn't really look anything like me. It's one that it kind of custom built, and then I might have tweaked it for about 10 seconds. I need to go spend some more time on that eventually, but I wanted to give everybody kind of an idea. You can see me moving the camera around in the real video on the bottom right corner, and you can kind of see my avatar doing the same thing. My avatar's face is looking kind of smug, and that is exactly the face I was making, so it's nice to see that translates well. And kind of moving my eyes around. I'm going to do some face motions and move my jaw. I did try sticking out my tongue, and that did not work. So there are limits. Now I'm going to kind of do a 360 so you can kind of see both me spinning around in the real world, and then my virtual environment moving, kind of holding the camera out and moving around. So the last part I tried doing real quick was the whiteboard, and I'm basically going to edit this part of the video out. I spent a great deal of time just trying to figure out how to use the whiteboard. Everything I tried, I could not get it to work. In theory, you're supposed to be able to flip the controller over. It's got a little stylus, and use that. That didn't work. I tried selecting colors. None of that worked. Down at the end of the table here, that's a kind of a sphere portal. To me, that looks like a round, like a like a ball, because it's three-dimensional. It's not just a circle. And then it passes through to the real environment, as you can see. So, and then last thing I wanted to show you is this part's kind of interesting. It picked up kind of a virtual template. It saw my keyboard and it kind of knew exactly what maybe the model of it, and it created a 3D representation of it and put it on the screen. All right, guys, I think we're going to finish there for this video and maybe call that part 1, and then pick up where we left off in part 2, which will be testing out some of the more collaborative environments where you actually interact with people, and maybe I can get that whiteboard working. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you on the next one.